Welcome to From Stuck to Scaled, growth strategies for small and mid-sized businesses, your guide to navigating growth, transformation, and success in today's ever-changing business landscape. Each week, we'll dive into proven strategies, real-world case studies, and actionable insights designed to help small and mid-sized business owners scale smart, lead stronger, and grow faster. Let's get you unstuck and on the path to sustainable, scalable success. Now your host, Julio Gonzalez.
Welcome back to From Stuck to Scaled. I'm your host, Julio Gonzalez. What drives someone to start their own business? More often than not, it's spotting an underserved market or seeing a problem and building the solution. Today's guest is a serial entrepreneur who's done both, and multiple times. In my experience, an open and inquisitive mind is one of the greatest assets an entrepreneur can have, and Alex Sabonge brings that mindset to everything he touches. Let's hear how curiosity and innovation have shaped his journey. Alex is no stranger to the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Trained as an industrial and systems engineer, he quickly developed a knack for spotting opportunity. When web development was just gaining traction, he teamed up with friends to teach others how to build websites. As a corporate trainer, he helped business leaders elevate their performance. Then came a World Cup featured app, followed by his latest venture, shiponadime.com, which leverages AI and smart tools to help businesses dramatically cut their overnight and expedited shipping costs. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Julio.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. I already gave your introduction, but I always like my guests to be able to talk about themselves. So tell our listeners about who you are.
Okay, my name is Alex. I born here in the United States. My family is from Panama. When I was around 4 or 5 years old, we flew over there, and I got raised there for 17 years. My mother came back because my parents are divorced, and she started working. So she took us to the United States, and I got to FIU and graduated from FIU as an industrial and systems engineer in 2001. That's how everything started here in the United States.
As we talked, you've been through a number of different business ventures. And in your intro, I talked about how you were teaching web design. So, how did you get started with, say, your first company?
So let me start with the teaching. That's how I got to the web design and everything. When I was in FIU, when I graduated, I was looking for work and I couldn't find work. So I applied for FIU to work, answering phones. And my boss at the time, Margie Larson, gave us the opportunity to build a web development team inside FIU. So 3 or 4 people in the office started to learn, web design and graphic design. And we started building all the websites for the entire FIU school. By the time that we developed maybe 3 or 4 websites, my boss asked me, "Hey, would you like to teach faculty how to build websites?" I'm like, "Sure, never done that before." So every Friday we took an hour, and some of the people from different departments came to an auditorium, and I was teaching them the tools and how everything, how can they manage their website after we build them. And I really enjoyed that. So 2 of the people that were in my team, we decided to take some classes to become teachers. And we graduated from those classes, and I became a teacher for Broward County, where I used to teach math and computers and so forth. And then that led to me teaching web design and graphic design in Broward County. And that's where I started seeing, I love teaching, I love web design. Let me see what else I can do with
one of your first, I would say, big business ideas was your World Cup app. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that came about.
So let me go a little bit back so you can see, because it's pretty interesting. So in 2009, actually 2007, I was working for American Express, and I was designing courses online for people answering the phones. And during that time, I got a project to do toys. and the choice led me to the web development and the app development. So I got into the app development when the iPhone came out in 2008. I don't know if you remember back then, that was like the iPhone 1.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I remember working for LexisNexis. I got fired from that company. I'm like, how am I going to pay for all these expenses? So I started building a budget app for myself to see how much money I was going to have on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday, because I don't have money until then. And during that exercise led me to build an app called Budget Planner. That app was, oh my God, everybody downloaded it because you could see how much money you had on Wednesday or in a different week. And everything was based on Excel. So, developing that app turned me to the World Cup app, which it was my first big national thing. We spent maybe 3 months developing the app for the World Cup. Once we finished the app, I sent a lot of letters to the news, to the TVs, to the radio stations, and one person called me back. She was from Channel 10. Her name was Andrea. That was my daughter's name. And she told me, oh my God, I love your story. Can we go interview? I'm like, sure. So they came to the house. They put the cameras. It was raining super bad. And I'm like, oh, we're not going to do this today. I'm like, yes, we are. So she came. She videotaped the whole thing. And 10 minutes before the World Cup started, I was featuring the World Cup app on TV.
Wow.
My mother was crying when she saw me on TV. It was very emotional. Very, very nice. We hit number 2 in the United States in the sports section. And we were there for a month. It did really well.
Nice. So what did you learn from that exercise in building out that app?
Something that I learned was about APIs and information feeds. There's a lot of data out there that we think that, as soon as you download the app, you see everything there. There are feeds propagators that they will sell you that service in order for you to integrate or manipulate the data to the point that you can reflect, for example, in the World Cup, statistics of the players, how many scores were in the back, in the previous World Cups. You collect all that data and you put it together. So we did a lot of shopping around to find these feeders, how much it costs, how much, if somebody sees the data, how much it costs per visit and things like that. So it was a very good experience to learn shopping, online, to see, what was the reliable data, how much time did it take to go down, because you have one user versus 300 users or 1,000 users. Like, okay, you will reach this amount, you won't be able to, you need to pay extra. So it opened another set of knowledge, because knowing that I could find data and provide it to the customers and translate it to it, it's million possibilities. You can do Google Maps, you can do data mining, you can do so many things with that.
And now let's bring that to your latest app, Ship on a Dime. Tell us about that and how you came about doing that and some of the challenges of building it.
So Ship on a Dime started when I decided to open Boxes, etc., which is my brick and mortar location here in Pembroke Pines. We were going to offer mailbox rentals. We were going to offer printing and shipping for businesses. But one of the things we wanted to focus was on shipping. So I started calling UPS, FedEx, USPS, DHL, created accounts, etc. And I started putting marketing materials, and people start coming to the store. But what I noticed is that when I was doing that, I was not getting any discounts because I was brand new. So if I ship 1 or 10, my prices were probably even higher than the ones in the store. So I found a provider, and the provider was giving me okay prices. And I decided to go back to the feed thing that I mentioned for the World Cup And I found that there are a couple of people offering APIs for FedEx, UPS, and USPS. And I found a great provider. And during the programming, we established that we could combine AI and search daily rates. And we fine-tuning this app took us about 6 months, to the point that now it's offered to the public. Everybody can go to shiponadime.com and look at savings. Sometimes they're up to 60% from the regular UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Depends on the weight, depends on the dimensions and the addresses. But during all these years of developing websites and doing apps and being fired, all this struggling, put it together, helped me build Ship on a Dime. Because at the end of the day, people want to save money, especially, with this economy that we have right now.
Sure. No, and I hear that continuous thread in everything that you've done. A lot of innovation, a lot of inventiveness, creativity, all of those things I heard throughout all of the activities and jobs and projects that you've had. And that's one of the things that, as I put in the intro. It takes that creativity and that openness to say another way of doing it, and it's not just that tunnel vision of doing it one way. So I give you a lot of credit for bringing that innovation into everything that you do.
Thank you. Something that I want to add: when you are trying to help people, things are going to happen for you, because at the end of the day, all we want is to help somebody save money here, help somebody save time going to the store, because you don't need to go to the store. You can schedule a pickup with Ship on a Dime, and you're saving them time and money. So as long as you're helping somebody, there's always going to be an interest.
So going back to some of the challenges that you faced, you and I had spoken a little bit right before you released it, and you were trying to get some last minute things corrected. What are some of the things that you run into from a development perspective that you wish you had done differently, better, you knew more when you got started? Because Ship on a Dime is a pretty big release for you. So what are some of those challenges that you had?
First of all, was building my development team, because I was the only one, and it was a lot of work for one person. So finding a development company and a development team to be in the support was very challenging. There are websites that you go, Odesk or Upwork and Fiverr, and you interview and you work, and the language barriers, the style of development, the back and forth. I mean, just to adapt to one developer, and then at the end it's like, look, this is not going to work. You need to find another developer to do that. It's like start all over again. So that's one thing, finding a good developer, which I found a good developer, and now we both talk the same language, we communicate, and it's fantastic. So that was one of the challenges. The other challenge was the connections of the APIs. The API is a software that is developed by the source of the company. For example, UPS provides an API, FedEx provides an API, USPS provides an API, DHL, and so forth. Connecting that data and translating it into a number takes a lot of trial and error, especially when they send an email from the support. It's like, oh, sorry, we're going to have some maintenance at night, and the API isn't going to work for 10 hours. You're like, but I have customers that I need to support. How are you going to tell me this? And these are not Mickey Mouse companies. These are FedEx, UPS, USPS. They support millions and millions of people. So that's the other challenge. During the development, I was talking to several people in our network, ABN, and they sent me some feedback, which I, help integrate. But there was one thing that saved a lot of time. I spoke to a lady in our network, and she tested the app, and I'm missing my apartment number. And I'm like, but the field is there. So we were doing all this, testing, and the apartment number was missing, even though she typed it, and the shipment of the test didn't arrive. And I'm like, oh my God. So I found out that there was something coded wrong. We fixed it, and now everything is working. Thank God that she was inside the network and she was able to help me with that. But you know how software works. It's always improving, version 1, version 25, and etc.
Yeah, when I was at FIU, I studied development, and at the time, it was Citibank that had the only touchscreen ATM. So one software development project that I had was build an ATM. So I modeled it after um, after the Citibank ATM, and it worked for one cycle. And then after that, the screen would start getting messed up, and I racked my brain for days and days. I sat with my professor. He ended up giving me a B because we couldn't figure out what the issue was, and it was literally one set of parentheses that I put in the wrong place. So I was allocating memory
How
incorrectly,
you do it?
and it was eating up the screen. So luckily, I
Don't
was able to
feel
fix
so
it.
bad. Don't feel so bad because the guy that created the credit card got a C minus in his
There
project.
you go.
Oh, look at that.
I was able to fix it immediately after the deadline to provide it, and he was nice enough to give me the A because I was able to fix it.
That's great. I mean, see, development has to do with constant updates, because you will always find somebody that breaks it, and that's good feedback. So it's
Yeah,
always
that's why you need beta testers, you
yeah,
need alpha testers. Before it gets anywhere, you need to test the concept, test the product, and continuously test, because as the product gets out into the mass market, any of those types of problems are just going to be magnified.
exactly.
So let's go beyond development. Now you've been on the market with Ship on a Dime for I think about 3 months, maybe 4 months. How's
Yeah.
that rollout been? What's that looking like today?
So it's interesting because during the time that I started in FIU in 2001 until now, 2025, I learned different things that have helped me. For example, marketing, like how to market a product or a service. You need to do email marketing, you need to do data mining, finding the emails, finding the phone numbers, talking to the person, explaining to see how they can use it in their store or the public. So it's a process. For Ship on a Dime, I've done data mining, which is scrapping the web for all the shipping agencies in the United States. That led me to use, for example, AI to see where were the most Latin populated cities in the United States, because they're going to be the ones that with shipping agencies shipping to Ecuador, Peru, etc. Putting that all data together, building a spreadsheet, calling every person, sending every email, and that's one aspect of that. Then who else can use this software? Cell repair companies, meal preparation companies, attorneys, accountants, anybody that needs wet signatures, that needs to do, delivering next day air and so forth. So all these years of doing product development, software development has helped me to build this brand, which I feel really good about it, because the project is almost complete. Now I'm launching the international part of it, because it's currently for the US. You can ship from coast to coast, but the international part of it, we're not talking about 60% savings. We're talking about maybe 200% savings. It's just, it's in motion.
No, you were telling me about a test shipment that you were working on with somebody. It was like what, $400, $600, and you got it
Oh
down
yeah,
to 160.
Yeah, so we were sending something to Spain. It was a small box. It was 12 by 10 by 6. And I quoted in FedEx, UPS, DHL. It was like 4 to 525 through them. Our software was able to quote it for 85, and that included insurance. So, it's very, the person is saving $300-400 rather than going to the store. They can ship it with ship on a dime.
That's pretty incredible. So that's a great message, which gets us to marketing. How have your marketing efforts been? I know you said you were targeting the shipping agencies.
So during the development, I was doing everything. I have a mortgage to pay with my brick and mortar, so I need to build websites and do printing to pay for the bills. So I dedicated very little time to do marketing. I was just finishing the software, and I'm like, I'm gonna make the effort of hiring somebody to help me. And now, let me see if I can move this a little bit. I got another desk right there set up for her that she's helping me out. Half of the day she's just collecting data, making phone calls, sending emails, and it's working. Right now we have probably maybe 400 or 500 individual customers and maybe 25, 30 shipping agencies that are using the software. And everybody's extremely surprised and also happy they're saving so much money, and they are also making money because they are making their prices competitive with UPS and USPS and FedEx.
Those are very good numbers for the
Yeah.
length of time that you've been live. So that's
Yeah,
something.
I've been working 12 hours, 16 hours a day. You know how this is. You're in the same boat.
So, what are your thoughts about some of these new AI development platforms? Have you looked at things like Lovable and Make? Because with those, and I'm playing with those right now, working on prototypes for the app that I'm working on. But at this point, any individual, if you can describe an application, you can have it developed automatically through those platforms. What are your thoughts on those? Have you looked at those?
Some of them. Going back to the API, I don't know if you're familiar with APIs, but
Mhm.
the AIs, depending on the source, you can use their APIs to develop AI platforms for other customers.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we are doing in Ship on a Dime. Let me give you an example of what the app is going to do. So right now, somebody contacts you via WhatsApp or Instagram or TikTok or email or website. You always need to answer individually to each platform. So we are putting together an app that is going to answer based on what the website does. Let's say, for example, Ship on a Dime concentrates on shipping. So I want to ship something to this state. How much is it going to be? The AI, what it's going to do is going to grab the answer from whoever is writing. If it's WhatsApp, let's say WhatsApp, it's going to calculate the test. It's going to send it to them via WhatsApp, and it's going to record that conversation in the dashboard. So you can communicate from one platform through all your networkings. If you have 7, 8 channels, everything's going to be handled by that. So Ship on a Dime is integrating that into their customer service. So we don't need to do this manually. It's going to be, automated.
Now that's something that is becoming huge. The AI agents. I've seen a couple that will actually even answer the phone and can have an intelligent conversation with a customer, which is fantastic because it saves a ton of money. And as long as you train it well, it can provide the answers that customer needs.
Yeah,
So,
we're thinking maybe we're gonna separate that service because a lot of people will use it. It's gonna be it's called Cloud Vibe. We're thinking of separating it to see because not everybody's gonna use Ship on a Dime, but everybody needs to answer their customer service through all their channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for our listeners, you touched on a couple of other businesses of yours, and I want to go back to the fact that you're a serial entrepreneur. You've done so many different things. You've got your boxes, etc. store. Your wife has the flower store. What other businesses do you have either running or thought of? Uh, and that ties to my eventual question of what's next. But you're doing a lot of different things as an entrepreneur. So talk a little bit more about that.
So something that I have running all the time is my web and app development software. So what we provide in boxes, etc., is solutions. So if somebody comes like, oh, I need a logo, we'll develop the logo. But if you need to develop your business, we also develop your business. If you want to be in Amazon or in Walmart, we'll create your brand, we'll create your assets, and we'll provide you with your customers. So you don't need to stretch out a year of research and developing and doing marketing. We'll provide all that to you because I have all this experience and I want to help and share these people because I know what it's been to start a project and have no idea of any guidance. I mean, nobody teaches this. We learn by wearing multiple hats. Like, I need to be an accountant, I need to be a web developer, I need to be a marketer, and put it all together is overwhelming. And you don't have the time or the money to spend on a company that will charge you an arm and a leg, and at the end of the month or two, you're like, I cannot continue this project. You've been there.
Oh, yeah, I'm there now. So what is next for Alex? What's that next great application, or what's your next project?
Well, like I mentioned, the Close Vibe, I think we're going to launch it by October. And Ship on a Dime International, maybe in another month or so. And that's going to keep me pretty busy for the, upcoming months until the end of the year, I believe. Because launching a business, building a business plan, you can get it on AI. Type A, maybe build this, but executing it is the key. A lot of people stay there. It's like, oh, this is too much work. I'm not going to do it. And that's why we have 5% of the entrepreneurs in the United States are doing the job, walking the talk. Not everybody's up to the task.
Yeah. So, Alex, no one comes on the show without providing a couple of tips to our listeners that they can implement today. So, what suggestions, what tips do you have for our listeners?
I'm going to give you three tips. The first one that we use for our flower shop, and I'll tell us a little story about that. Online directories. List your business in every online directory there is. Sometimes they're free, sometimes they're paid. It's worth it because these are business aggregators. And when you pop up in this website, and this website, and this website, and you're all over the place, your SEO rank goes really high. So that's what we did for the flower shop. And in a matter of a year, we were factoring from $100 a day to $500 a day. It was, it's a big significant thing. Something that I learned with my skills, if you ever still look for a job, quantify things in your resume. Don't just list, I know how to do this. Managers, when they read the resumes, they get copy paste from the internet. If you quantify how many people did you serve, how many hours did you spend, how many customers did you see when you walked in there, they're going to see that resume and they're going to see like, this guy is not a regular cookie cutter. This guy is a management position. So that's something that I learned over the years, and I've helped my kids build a resume, my friends build a resume, and instead of they making $50,000, they are making $80,000. So that's a big difference. And the last thing, always give everything of what you got, because somebody in your path is going to notice you and is going to help you get where you need to be.
So Alex reminds us that curiosity isn't just a mindset, it's a strategy. And when you stay open to what's possible, opportunity tends to follow. Do you have a great idea? What are you doing about it? Take a page from Alex's playbook. Stay curious, stay agile, and don't be afraid to build the thing you wish existed. Alex, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to From Stuck to Scaled. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs that extra push to think bigger. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to From Stuck to Scaled, growth strategies for small and mid-sized businesses, produced by Optocution LLC. For more information, tools, and resources, check out our website www.redefinepossible.co/podcast.